Hi, it's Dr. Jeffrey Mark. Today, I'd like to talk to you about New Year's resolutions and the stages of behavioral change. With the start of the new year, many of you have decided to make New Year's resolutions. As you know, change can be difficult, and there are a number of stages that one goes through for behavioral change. New Year's resolution and changes require quite a bit of commitment to time, effort, and emotion to achieve the change. So why do people want to change? Because they're ready for the change. So they recognize that there's a need for the change to occur. Then there's also a need to look at the barriers in terms of what can be a challenge in achieving the new change. There needs to be an assessment of the barriers that could prevent the change from occurring for the new behavior. Then there's the likelihood of relapse, and you need to have certain adaptations to allow for the possibility of relapse and to change behaviors. So your New Year's resolution may be something like losing weight or stopping smoking or trying to accomplish some other goal. So there are three very important elements of change to consider. The first is that you're ready for the change, that you've thought things out, that you've gathered the resources and you have the knowledge of how to make the change. Then you have to look at the barriers of change in terms of what could be challenges to prevent you from getting the goal that you want to achieve. And then there's the likelihood of dealing with the failures or relapses which can occur and trying to figure out some alternative ways of dealing with old habits that might creep up or certain triggers that might creep up as well. So there was a stages of change model called the trans-theoretical model that was developed in the 1970s by researchers James Prochaska and Carlo Dell'Amente. So these stages were developed in their research on people stopping smoking. Although the model is not perfect, many people go through these various stages. The first stage is pre-contemplation, which is the stage where people are not considering a change at all, that they are often in denial that they have a problem or that they need to change, that their behavior is fine, and that they don't recognize that some of their behaviors may be self-destructive or damaging to others. So basically, there is an unawareness that there is a problem. So at this stage, one needs to rethink your behavior and analyze what your actions are to yourself and to others, and to assess the risks of the current behavior. People that have decided to make New Year's resolutions have gone past this stage, of course. The next stage is contemplation, where you can have a slight ambivalence of actually making the change, but you're aware that you need to make a change because of either problems that you've noticed in your health or behaviors that you've had towards others, or that there's something desirable that you want to develop for yourself, gaining more muscle or getting more fit. So many of these questions that you ask are, why do you want to do the change? Is there something that's preventing you from changing? And what are some of the things that can make the change happen? And what are the benefits of the change? So you want to, again, weigh the pros and cons of the behavioral change at this stage. You want to confirm that you're ready to make the change. And then you're going to identify barriers that may prevent you from making the change. So once you completed this stage of contemplation, that's where you're ready to initiate your New Year's resolution. Stage 3 is the preparation, which is basically saying if your goal is to lose weight, for example, you're going to make small steps, such as switching to lower fat foods. If your goal is to quit smoking, you're going to switch brands of cigarettes or smoke less each day, a few cigarettes less day here and there. And then you're going to make other small changes, like you're going to a personal trainer or sign up for health club or read self-help books or go on the internet to find other resources. So in this stage, you're actually experimenting with small changes and you're collecting information to allow you to make the change. So good strategies in this stage are to write down your goals, which is part of the New Year's resolutions, prepare a plan of action, and to make a list of motivating statements so that you can tell yourself the positive benefits of the change that you're thinking of making. The next stage is action. So this is where you're actually decided to make the commitment that you're going to direct your action, your time, your resources towards making this change or behavior happen. So you want to make sure that you reward yourself when you achieve weight loss or quit smoking or achieve your goal. And you want to make sure that you tell others that you're going to make these changes and have a little bit of some social accountability from your peers or other friends or family. For example, many people will make a New Year's resolution to lose weight and then immediately start a new exercise regimen, including a healthier diet and cutting back on snacks. And that these steps are, of course, vital to achieve their goal, but they're often abandoned after a few weeks because certain steps have been overlooked. So you want to make sure that you look towards the goal, give yourself small rewards as you go through each of the steps and make, as you go through each of the steps, as you get successful with some of these small steps, and to make sure that you reinforce yourself by telling others that, hey, I'm doing this, this is going through, and this is working out. So the fifth stage of behavioral change is maintenance. Here, you've started these new behaviors, new habits, and you've been successful in avoiding some of the previous behaviors that have held you back. You're trying the new behavior, you're avoiding temptation from going back to where you were before, and you're replacing the old habits with these new habits, and you're rewarding yourself successfully and avoiding relapse. So if you don't falter at this step, you can keep going and you keep rewarding yourself and keep making bigger steps and having positive reinforcement, both from yourself, your little rewards, and from the social support around you, as friends and family are happy to see this change, and they reinforce you as well with positive social feedback. And in this process, it's able to make these lifelong changes. The next step is either termination, where you successfully have achieved what you need for this new goal and that you just need continued maintenance, or you can go into a phase of relapse, which often occurs inevitably because of the fact that you still have some triggers available that may be constantly around you, and that you need to continue to adapt to avoid temptation and to fall into the old pattern of things. In this stage of relapse, people experience disappointment, they get frustrated, and there may be feelings of failure. So the strategies to help overcome this stage is to identify triggers that can lead to the relapse, and then to recognize the barriers that are preventing you from succeeding. Then you want to reaffirm your goals and commitment to change. So oftentimes, the stages have been shown as a circular pattern where one goes through, and then after the relapse phase, you again kind of regroup, and you're back into the contemplative and action phase and maintenance phase. So the model was developed in the 1970s, but it didn't have some of the social context factors that are now in modern day society, and also income and other resources that you may or may not have to institute these changes. Also, there's not really a logical flow in the sense that this circular pattern may not be one step to the other, and there's a lot of back and forth, and which this model may not totally account for. Also, in this model, there's not really an allotment for how much time is spent in each phase. Traditionally, the pre-contemplative phase means that you have decided not to make any changes, at least for the next 6 months. And the contemplative phase is that you are actually going to make a change within the next 1 to 6 months. So we've been using other techniques at All Functional Health, including motivational interviewing and cognitive behavioral therapy change. These are other things that we've helped people with, for example, in the area of weight loss. Of course, we also have regenerative medicine programs and cognitive health programs as well. So I hope this overview of stages of behavioral change are helpful as an introduction. We'll have subsequent videos looking at each of these stages and other types of things that may be more helpful, such as what motivational interviewing is and cognitive behavioral therapy. So for more information on all functional health, AFH, weight loss programs, regenerative medicine programs, cognitive improvement programs, contact us at info@jeffreymarkmd.com. Find us on the web at www.allfunctionalhealth.com or call area code 925-736-9828. So we've helped thousands of people in their journey of health, and we look forward to helping you as well. So make your New Year's resolutions and health goals for this new year. Stay healthy and take care.